Welcome to Immediate Review and a special episode where we decided to watch all of Ari Aster's short films.
Yeah, we're waiting for the director's cut of Midsommar to arrive, but A24 hasn't shipped it yet. So, so we decided to watch all of Ari Aster's short films, and now we're going to review them in chronological order. We are joined with person A, who's off screen. There's a link to all the videos down below.
There's a link to all the videos down below,
There's
guys.
A link to all the videos
Go down below and watch all the videos
before you watch this. Why not? All right, so we got 7 short films to get through. The first one was Tino's Dick Fart Really Works.
Or TDF really works if you're looking it up on...
All right, so yeah, this was like a weird parody commercial. This is like something that we would make now.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, we technically just kind of did. Like, we didn't go as crazy with the color grading and the
dicks.
I do not think there was any color grading in this.
Well, no, because
this was like pre-2010s, like YouTube.
Well, they had fonts, that would pop in and like
post effects and color grading. Like this. This was like full on. Pre-2010s dawn of the internet.
Yeah,
almost.
just infomercial cheese. Like, yeah, it was just complete.
What'd you think?
It almost felt like a film school prompt, like an assignment. Like they had to make a commercial about a product that no one would ever use.
You get kicked out of film school.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, what?
It shows diagrams of them having to pump their dick up to
and then it exploding.
And then just in pain and just
we're not responsible for dick explosions.
What comments you got?
I mean, it's ridiculous. Honestly, it is. It's it's just got infographics and just all sorts of just weird stuff, and it's literally a booger remover for a baby. That's what the dick fart is. And you squeeze it and use it to pull snot out of babies' noses and shit, and they're just stick that up your dick and fucking with this cock ring, and you pinch the hole and you can make your dick fart. But if you don't do it right, it'll explode.
On every Ari Aster poster from now on, from the director of Tino's Dick Fart Really Works, comes the next one. All right, move on.
Yep.
Alright, so the second short film was Bo.
Also, what the fuck, but for different reasons.
Yeah, what'd you think?
So, definitely more so than Tino's Dick Farts. You could kind of see, the beginnings of some of his stuff in this one. I mean, obviously the quality is not as good as the ones that follow this.
This was his first attempt at a real narrative, though.
But the paranoia, there was one specific shot where I was with the lighting and everything, where I was there, and just the weirdness, and it never gets explained what's going on, and there's a hint of the family.
Yeah, we haven't explained what it's about because it's really not clear what it's about.
It's just
it's
everybody's
a man who's
in on
paranoid.
Everybody's in on it, but it's not entirely certain if it's just sleep deprivation or if it's real.
Any thoughts on Bo, Peter?
Nope.
Weird and ambiguous. All right, the third one was a 30-minute long tale called The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
Holy fucking shit, this is where you can really see Ari Aster's all of the elements of Ari Aster.
Yeah, no spoilers
birthed.
On this one because it drops.
There's a ton of shit, but fucked up family, stylistic things, bad things happen in a bathroom,
The tension and anxiety in this one is very real, and a big turn of events happens within the first minute, and we can't really go too much into it, but there is definitely something strange about the Johnsons.
And this one is definitely more than the other two worth watching.
Yeah, this one is one you just really need to go see yourself. I can't really say much about it besides it's stylistically like Ari Aster.
What'd you think though? Like,
I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like like I said, like stylistically like Ari Aster. So it's like if you like Hereditary, if you liked Midsommar, you're gonna like this too. But I can't tell you anything about it.
There were actually several small shots and mini sequences that were like straight that were used again in Hereditary.
Mm-hmm. And like themes of loss, dysfunction in a family, all that stuff.
Oof. I loved the ending. Like what? All right, the fourth film is Munchausen.
So this one was a silent film.
Yeah,
it's not just a silent film. I gotta clarify this here. Also in the same style, acting and the music and everything as silent films, meaning the overacting in certain places is purposeful. Places where it seems like cheesy or like what is like totally purposeful. The cuts. The type of music that's used, it's all very like
it is wholesomely over the top.
like late 1910s, like early 1920s silent films. Down to I was waiting for little title cards to come up that had like words on them. Like everything about it. Like
because it didn't want to it didn't want to make that too obvious.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't want to really hit home. This is a tribute to silent films.
Yeah.
It's just like
it almost,
using that
if you
in a modern way.
Yeah, if you haven't seen them, it almost seems like this is kind of interesting and cheesy.
Oh, they're ripping off Up.
Like, visually, like the certain little gags that they do, but like with the understanding of that, it takes away that cheesy factor.
So what do you think?
So I think that this one is kind of Ari Aster trying to we haven't gotten to some of the other videos, but this one there's no dialogue and it's all stylistic shots and showing and instead of telling in order to create a narrative. And then in some of the other ones that we're going to talk about in a little bit, they're very dialogue driven, like incredibly dialogue driven. I feel like this was Ari Aster more testing himself to be like, I want to be able to create a script and build a narrative that is completely silent and driven through showing and through music and the actors on screen. And I also want to be able to create a script that is completely dialogue driven and kind of just follows a character through, kind of explaining, I don't know, kind of like faux, like pseudo intelligence kind of thing that leads into them to reaching kind of a profound ending. But we'll get to those. But yeah, that's what I think about this one. It's really good, super stylistic, and yeah.
Also, the title card is like
Midsommar.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. It was just like the opening shot of Midsommar. Yeah.
Yep.
This one again, don't want to spoil it too much, but it's about a mother who has a little too much affection for her son, and I love how the first half of this is just like, it is so wholesome. It is just so like, oh gosh dang it, like wholesome family, and then it gets dark.
Yeah.
And love
and
it.
the dark shots and the wholesome shots are parallel.
It weaves back between dark and wholesome as well, like and kind of just ends in tragedy. But
I think
Ari Aster.
I think it was the best one. What do you guys think?
It wasn't my favorite. Like I have a different opinion.
Munchausen being the best one. On what merits?
I just overall I think it was the best quality, best shot, best acting, just like most unique, most creative. Just I think it was the standout short for me. I thought Munchausen was fantastic.
I mean, it was definitely really good, but I mean,
those transitions, fuck. I mean, they were coming out with masterful transitions left and right.
No, they were, but I just I don't know. For me, the strain
have we gotten to it or strange thing about that's
one,
number
that
2.
one for me is like it's so close, man, and I feel like I just got to give it to it because
that one's more Ari Aster.
It's more Ari Aster and just more traditional. Where this obviously is something, but it's a close second.
Yeah. What's yours?
Well, it depends on how you define best.
I mean, what do you think is best?
In terms of one, I would want a whole movie about. I would watch a whole movie on
the Johnsons.
The Johnsons.
Yes.
However, in terms of like in the context of a short film,
yeah, like what we saw,
I liked the one we'll be discussing next.
Oh, okay, cool.
Best. So.
All right, number 5. Any last words on it? All right, Munchausen. It was great. The 5th film is Basically. You wanna go first since this is Persona's favorite one?
So basically, this is not the exact opposite of the previous short in terms of storytelling, because it's not like there's absolutely no visual elements, but it's primarily driven through fourth wall breaking monologue.
This is what Peter was referencing.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Like, this is fourth, and this isn't the only one that does this, as you'll find out. But it's, like, very, like, we were immediately like, oh, like, Wes Anderson and, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just, like,
very
the
French
acting
cinema.
is, yeah, French cinema. But the acting is so solid, and you're, like, wondering, like, where it's going, and, you can't predict it. And it actually, like, just the emotional arc is like, it's just this contained little character study where at first you're like, oh, this is just like a bratty, like, spoiled person, and then you find out that there's way more to the story, and then it ends with like this like meta little bit about like acting and art in general.
This
ends.
is a theater monologue.
It just ends, and you're like, oh yeah, like that whole last bit was like the point. Like, this is the big thing that Ari Aster was obviously considering while making that, and that's why he has this character just like going about their life, talking straight to the camera, and then breaking to interact.
In it, only one guy, I think.
And they don't talk directly to the camera; they're talking to her.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
So this one, like I said, it's completely dialogue driven, and in all honesty, some of the shots, like they don't put as much effort into them. Like I kind of said that at the beginning when we were watching it, he was kind of doing like a Wes Anderson thing, like he kind of felt like Wes Anderson, and I kind of wish they would have taken it a little bit further and actually went for the kind of symmetry look along with that. But it didn't take away from what was on screen, and kind of like what Person A said, you kind of come into it as just like, this person's like kind of a piece of shit. Like, she, talk shit on her mom, and it's like, okay, we don't get the context, and that's kind of the focus. Is it's all about, like that we don't have the context of her life, and she's trying to give pickles. And we're trying to get like a glimpse into it and whatnot, and walk with her, describing how she's decided to navigate her life until the point where she was like, could I have decided to be someone else?
And I will say something about the symmetry that I just realized. It becomes increasingly less symmetrical as you get to the emotional, like after the emotional point of the story.
That is very true. I noticed that as well.
And then it's like, it's like a further, like that starts shot, when it's that further away shot where she's like in the center, and then she goes into the corner, and then like that's when she's talking about the guy, and then after that there's only a brief bit of symmetry, and then she's off center for the rest of it. And there's like this great like mirror shot and all of that. But I feel like initially centering her and then having her off center says something, I think, to in part about like her being like the center of the universe and all of that, and then having what happened, and her realizing that she's not, and that there are more important things, and that the world is bigger, and that shit does impact you, and she's trying to just like cover it up and cover it up and cover it up, because like that's her family, that's her life. And then it's a mirror shot. At the end, you're not even actually seeing her, you're just seeing her reflection, which I think is pretty powerful.
I'm just kidding. I thought some of the what I noticed about the angles most of all is how just some of them were just like super duper wide, and I thought it was awesome how much they pulled the camera back. Any other comments?
Nope.
Cool. All right, number 6 was the classic neo-noir starring Detective Bing Schuster called Turtle's Head. What do you think of this one, Peter?
So I'm just gonna this is basically what I think this movie is.
Hey, nice style. Thank you. Thank you very much. This face looks familiar. I didn't know if it was from my past or from some dog food can I'd kicked around in an alleyway.
So that's basically what I thought this movie was. Like, it was literally just like a Who's Line sketch that's just elongated into, a just kind of noir, internal monologue that's hilarious and just making fun of, like, all of the classic noir tropes, and has a disgusting, hilarious twist that's, just fucking... Yeah, weird and awesome.
So,
And it's kind of too, like, somebody getting their just desserts.
Yeah, it starts off as, like, the classic, like, out of all the dames to walk into my bar, and, like, all those famous lines of detectives.
Legs up to her tits.
Yeah, and so this guy just, like, they take it to overdrive, and he's, like, full pervert, and she's like, oh, she had great tits and ass.
And he's just like, obviously, and you know what?
And so it
women don't understand anything until you slap their tits with the truth and tell it to their ass.
Just like the most ridiculous shit.
Oh, but he gets his for that shit.
And then
boy, does he get his.
Yeah,
basically, let's just say something starts to shrink into oblivion, and it's a punishment. And it goes from a noir to, like, a body horror almost, in a way. Just, like, dipping its toes in body horror.
And there's no, like, clear explanation for why. You could maybe be like, oh, it could be this, could it be that. Like,
the moral of the story is
background,
don't be trashy and sleazy to women.
don't
That's
be
what
a
it
fucking
is. It's
dick.
like the movie, it starts with him being a piece of shit to her, and then he gets his, and then it ends.
Yeah, and I think it's like the ending is super funny with, like,
he
like
loses what's most precious to him.
Well, yeah, and the, like, it's just like, yep, he had just like the worst night of his life, and then guess who comes knocking on his door? His job. He's got to go back to work. It's like,
well, and like everything's going great at his job. That's the hilarious thing. While his life is falling apart, his job is they're doing great.
And the final film was C'est la vie, which was kind of a throwback to basically same style with the monologue, kind of fourth wall breaking, still shots. But this one had a more like 90s. It reminded me of Do the Right Thing in a lot of places where someone's just like yelling at the camera about injustices of the city. And so...
and then you get the familial horror that comes out at the end.
Yeah.
You get that, like, he basically describes an Ari Aster film as we would know it now at the end. It's very interesting.
I mean, I personally thought that this was, like, written for, like, George Carlin to be...
dude,
George
totally.
Carlin
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, in that regard,
Brilliant son of a bitch.
it's like... may he rest in peace. But it was very kind of along those lines of, like, kind of a political. Here is the here's the reality of homeless life presented. At least like homeless, big city, life, kind of put into your face, but also somewhat parodied, but also sympathized with. Like there's like the scene where he, like, just like, this is where you come all out of the woods and take, it's like
it's a roller coaster.
Yeah,
there are a few
exactly.
moments where you hate him, where he says some really fucked up shit.
And
Yeah.
that's real people. Real people are like that.
Oh no, I know.
And-
I'm just saying it takes you on a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
with this
And he's
guy.
not always. He's just. Well, what's interesting too is, it's like another side of the city with basically, because basically she's like in Beverly Hills, and he's like sleeping on Santa
Yeah,
Monica
I
Boulevard.
totally see that.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Like under the overpass.
contrast
Like I could
between-
see Ari Aster doing like a collection of like LA
Yeah, like
LA shorts.
modern rich problem in philosophy, and then modern like homelessness
and then he could
problems
just
in
pick
philosophy.
like different people in
Yeah.
different parts of the city and their experiences and have them do that at the I would watch that.
Damn,
I'd watch more of those. But yeah, it is like the opposite. He's an old, like, homeless man, and she's a young. Like,
I mean, if they did a
affluent,
full movie like that, the script would be
actress.
so fucking bulky. Like they would have to rely on improv or have a script just fucking like a brick. You know what I mean? Like to have to cut between like let's say 7 or 8 different characters.
Well, that's
all
what I'm saying,
giving
like an
monologues
anthology
like
of
that.
shorts.
Yeah.
Just a collection
But
of
just
shorts.
Or
the
it could,
pacing.
could be a show. That's something I feel like if you threw on Netflix.
Yeah,
each
'cause,
episode's
like-
a
Each episode's half hour.
Because
Yeah.
even these, like, I felt the pacing was like a little tough with them constantly talking. Like, it's
I
definitely.
agree. They're both on the bottom of my list for that reason.
That's
I
the
thought
only
they
negative
both
is
went
just
on a
like
little too
is
long,
sometimes it felt a little rambly, especially with basically because some of the stuff she says is like really fucked up. But again, like the other one, and it's like. I hate that thing that you said. Like you as a person, like if I knew you as a person, I would not like you.
Hey, that's good. art.
But she
yeah.
took more pauses than he did. Like there were like noticeable like beats. Of
Oh
silence.
yeah. She
there
was
were-
definitely a fucking strong actress. Honestly, one of the strongest actors.
She's
like,
in an Amazon show,
like,
Marvelous Miss Maisel. I haven't seen it, but like she's like super famous now. So
yeah, like
she's,
out of all the
I can believe
actresses,
that.
she did I think she did the best out of like. I mean, I can't think of an actor that did, but had a better performance than she did.
I
She
thought
definitely
Bonnie
slayed
Bedelia
it.
was really good, but you know she wasn't speaking, so it's just hard to compare the performances.
That's true. Plus, I saw
yeah.
her in Stone in the Water.
Don't talk about that movie. She's
this
in
part.
Die Hard. Come on. She's good in that. But yeah. Any other comments on C'est la vie? All right. So
I just don't know how to put it into words.
all right. So that was Ari Aster's 7 short films.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely doing a review of the director's cut of Midsommar when it arrives.
Yeah, we're waiting for it to be shipped. Seriously,
What?
we've been waiting for weeks.
Oh yeah, because
Hereditary.
you haven't seen it yet, Peter.
I haven't seen it. I'm so excited.
Hereditary.
We need to do what
should
Peter
we
hasn't
review
seen.
it, or-
Should we review
I
Hereditary?
mean, he got short films and he's only got one other movie.
I mean, I love Hereditary.
it's not
it blew me
a
away.
hard filmography to complete.
I mean, if people want to see me like just drool over like Hereditary and just talk about how amazing it is, then yeah, we can do that.
Let us know.
Let us know down below.